Hi class, this is Professor Zamora. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do the writing assignments in our class. At the very top of our modules page, you'll notice that there is a page called How to Do the Writing Assignments. Go ahead and click on that. Once you do, it should lead you to this page. On this page, it's going to give you do's and don'ts on how to write the assignments in our class. So one of the things that is most critical is that you have to make sure to cite the required sources that are only coming from our class. Please make sure not to cite any outside sources. Now, when I'm talking about citing outside sources, I mean using in-text citations that you are pulling directly from the required source, which could be a reading, it could be a required video, or it could be a lecture. Now, I also want to stress that the use of artificial intelligence is strictly prohibited in this class. And if you are still not sure on how to do an in-text citation, I went ahead and provided a great link from the University of Purdue, their online writing lab, which shows you how to cite an in-text citation. Now, some other reminders is that most of your points are going to be coming from using the readings as evidence in your responses. So if you have to cite anything, I would recommend citing the reading over everything else. Typically, assignments that don't cite the readings will receive a 0 or a very, very low grade. Now, for the reflections specifically, your responses should be a minimum of 3 sentences per question. 1 sentence responses will get little to no points. And I want to make sure that all of you succeed in this class. So if you're interested in getting feedback from me, please email me your response before you submit them so that I can give you feedback. And of course, give me a couple of days so that I can actually respond to you with good feedback. If you email me a couple of minutes before the assignment is due, I'm probably not going to get back to you. Now, what I've also done on this page is I provided you with examples of what a good reflection looks like and what a not so good reflection looks like. So let's actually go ahead and start with the not so good one. So this is an actual reflection from one of my classes where a student received a 1 out of 5. Now, a 1 out of 5 is essentially an F. So you'll notice that they have 2 questions that they have to respond to. Here are the 2 questions. And you'll notice right away that the reflection response is very, very short, and it doesn't include any citing from any of the required sources, not any required videos or any required readings. The same can be said for this next one. Now, this is what not to do, essentially. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at what they do well in this 5 out of 5 reflection. So you'll notice right away that it is a lot longer than the one that I just showed you. Now, I want to make sure that you understand you don't necessarily need to write as much as this person, but you need to write almost as much. I've seen reflections that are maybe half this length that get A's, and I've seen reflections that write double this and that don't do so well. So a couple of the things that I want to make sure that you are very aware of is when I'm asking you a question, I'm expecting you to respond to that question. So make sure that whatever you write is answering the question itself. I know that seems kind of a self-explanatory and obvious, but another thing that I want to make sure that you do is that you're actually citing the article. Now, in this case, the students had to read an online article and they had to cite it as evidence so that it could support what they are saying. So you'll notice here in the very middle, the student is using a direct citation from the reading. I would avoid using paraphrasing when citing the reading. Make sure that you're only using the quotation marks and the parentheses at the end. Now, if you're still not sure on how to do these assignments, right? Let's say that you're new to college or you're not the greatest writer, right? I've gone ahead and created a how to write an academic paragraph guide for all of you. So if you click on that, it should lead you to a page that looks like this. And you can download this, it's a Word document. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that all of you knew how to write an academic paragraph. Now, a typical academic paragraph has 5 sentences. Those sentences are a topic sentence, introducing the evidence, using the evidence. This is where the citation will typically go. you would support your evidence, and then you would have a transition sentence that leads over into another paragraph. I've gone ahead and provided two examples here that follow this format. So here is a more academic one, and here after that is a simplified one. And so this one actually uses my Rate My Professor, a review that somebody wrote on Rate My Professor for me. Now, if you'll notice, I've labeled each one of the sentences based on what sentences it is. Now, I also want to remind you that you don't necessarily need to write exactly like this, like word for word, but I want to make sure that you're getting the actual hang of this. So you'll notice that essentially I am constructing an argument, I'm responding to a question, and then I'm using evidence to be able to support what I'm saying. That is essentially what you need to do for these writing assignments. Now, if you have any other questions, you can always email me and I will respond to you and give you as much feedback as I possibly can. Again, please make sure that you are giving me a few days to be able to respond to you. But one of the things that I also want to remind you is that I'm here as a resource, right? So if you ever need help, please go ahead and reach out to me. So with that being said, I'll see you all later. Take care.